Hello, I am the Dark Fae, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. And here I am now, just escaping the ruins with the two rotting corpses of my previous party members. So, that's wonderful. There are now voices in my ear, which is great. Was that like a vision from the past? Great. Vessel flesh. Great. Is that a campfire? No, that's somebody being burned at the stake. Okay. But I want to explore first. I'm sorry, person. Berries. Oh, they disappeared. Is that bad? Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna stand here, and I'm gonna... This doesn't feel like the way to Gilded Vale. These massive structures formed of stone, aldrin, copper, and covered in strange glyphs. The air around it vibrates with unusual energy. Can I do anything else with it? No? Okay. Oh. Is that what I'm supposed to do? I guess so. That's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. Cross the Vale Wood. Okie doke. And right off the bat, there's a dead guy. That's promising. You discovered some camping supplies. You can use these to rest in the wilderness or dungeons, fully restoring all of your character's abilities and health. Easy difficulty allows you to carry more camping supplies, but hard restricts them. Okay. Fully run out. Try to find an inn. Most have cheap rooms available. I don't think I need this armor. Admith's Wort. A ghosty? Why is there a ghosty? Okay, no, I don't want to go down this way just yet. Blood. Another dead guy. Oh, jeez. Oh, but I can use my thingamabobs now. Shocks at enemies. Visual receptors. See what happens. Please attack. Okay, I guess that's why. Did not like that. That was really irritating.
Ready to sleep like the dead.
Okay, maybe don't say that right after your friends all just died, huh? And my game crashed. And then I did...
Keeping quiet.
Let me... Okay. The young dwarf tending to the stew looks up, startled, as he sees you approach. He drops his ladle, spattering stew across the ground. What? The bandit turns. Get her, you dogs, and make sure our new cook doesn't run off. I should have maybe not done this because I'm only one person. 10th. Help! Please! Help me! One of the bandits gives 10th a kick as they pass him and he huddles. Fuck. I guess. I'm so gonna die.
Let's go.
No way. Tired. Can't even tell if she's attacking or not, because I think she gets interrupted too often.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Can I do this on me?
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Blind him and then attack. Or maybe I should do this. Oh, it critted them. Nice. Good. Scary. Not happy.
Ready to sleep like the dead.
Yep. Just like... Ooh, hood. Okay, my thing is better. Hunting bows might be better than what I have. And let's go loot these guys, I guess. Hey, Tanfred.
Good day, stranger.
By the flame, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought I'd be stuck cooking for these ignorant weasels for the rest of my life. Or until they were bored with me, I suppose. I must get back home. I only hope they haven't hired a replacement. The dwarf looks aghast. Listen, next time you're in Gilded Vale, stop by the Black Hound Inn. I'll let Pasca know what you've done for me, and I'm sure she'll do right by you in turn. Oh, to be back at my oven again. You have earned a reputation. Reputations can be held with communities or factions in the Eastern Reach, and will affect how members of that group respond to you. In some cases, friends or enemies of those groups will also react. Yep. Helping a group will increase your positive reputation, harming increase negative. Seems about right. It's possible to have a mix of positive and negative reputation with a group if you help and harm them in equal measure. Okay, and he's gone. Late for dinner. Take some stuff. Ooh. We can keep exploring over this way, maybe. Oh. Shattered pieces of a crate are strewn across the dirt, along with a few muddy vegetables. The grass is still flattened beneath the wagon's wheels. Barrels of cabbages, potatoes, and squash have been overturned and abandoned. Scroll of jolting touch. Interesting, interesting. Okay. I'm just wondering how far do I want to go? Let's check on this side of the bridge. Not, you have a name, so maybe you won't try to kill me?
Hail, traveler.
Oh, thank goodness. This man appears to be hurriedly dismantling his camp in quick, jerky movements. He looks up as you approach, his expression tense and drawn. "Greetings," he says, a little breathless. "On your way south, is it?" He wipes his brow, turning to face you. "The sooner you're clear of these woods, the better, I think." Our caravan is like hard luck, and I'm sorry to hear it. You should be fine from here. There's no missing the Vale if you keep to the road, and you haven't far to walk. But you'll want to keep clear of this place after that. We were just attacked north of here. Me and a friend of mine. Is that the dead person we saw over there? Came out here to hunt some deer. Came up on a bear instead. Great monstrous thing. And Pearly. He didn't make it. He shakes his head. I don't know what I'll tell his wife. In any case, this forest's already cost me a friend. I'm heading home before it takes anything else. Who are you? Name's Nanton. Born and raised in Gilded Vale. Haven't had a spot of luck since. His face twists. Luckier than Pearly, I suppose. Where did you find this bear? In a cave, a ways up that way. He turns to point to the northwest. I wouldn't seek it out if I were you. It was a great brute of a beast. Would hate to hear that it took another life. What happened to your friend? We didn't see it coming. Nanton's voice shakes a little as he speaks. We were following a stag. Early, he saw something in the brambles, and we went tearing off after it. We all but stumbled into the cave. Poor Pearly didn't stand a chance. The bear was on top of him before we knew what was happening. The beasts will take what they will, I suppose. He smiles sadly, and this time, Gallowayne's favor fell upon the bear.
Good day, stranger.
Okay, I can't ask any other questions. Farewell. That's sad. He said, what, northwest? What happened? Oh, there's a wolf here. I didn't want to do this. Run? What happens if I bring them to... I'm kind of just messing around. Nothing. He's just a nothing character? Okay. This one.
Let's go. Let's go.
I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but I can't. If health reaches 0, the character will immediately drop, depending on your difficulty setting. And in Pillars of Eternity, there's no coming back. Yeah. Okay. Did I do this to me? Oh no. It seems like not. Okay. Please attack. He's not gonna bother? Okay. Right.
Oh, ready to sleep like the dead.
Good day to you.
Thank you for helping-ish. Not really. Time to leave because my endurance is tired. Except wizards may only cast spells that are in their equipped grimoire. Okay. The Gilded Vale. Yay, a town. Whew. I wanted to check my journal. Gilded Vale is said to be one of the most prosperous villages in the Direwood, full of opportunities for work and wealth. I was told they're offering land to new settlers. Is this where I get my stronghold? It's not quite what I was expecting. Speak with the innkeeper at Blackhound Inn. Okie dokie. So can I see what these are? Peter, Aloth, Ulfra's house, Ingrid's house, Windmill, Road East, Black Hammer's Smithery, Temple of Aothis. Oh, Road South. Blackhound Inn. I guess let's head to the inn first because we're pretty tired. Oh, people. Oh, Cinnamon. Oh. Oh. Why is everybody dead?
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
He glances at the gnarled, leafless monstrosity of a tree next to him. Do you welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever conceived a Hollowborn child?
No.
An infant born without a soul, of course. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head ever so slightly toward the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here. Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all.
Okay, great.
But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit.
Man.
My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
This dude is not cool. He blinks. I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn has been a scourge upon the Direward for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to whisper, "Children born without souls." He shakes his head. "Pitiful, dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods." He raises his empty hands. "In truth, no one knows, but they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name Widewind's legacy stuck, in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender." His voice shakes with vitriol. "I see. I saw several people conducting a strange ceremony near some ruins. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mentioned that. Trespassing on Ingwithan ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Bereth, have mercy, we certainly have." "I don't think so. Just as they finished, there was a Bewick." He polishes his spectacles on his sleeve. "If you'd been that close to a Bewick, you wouldn't be standing here."
Keep out of...
Listen!
I listen.
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
Oh no.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed.
For the east?
3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy has struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Bereth must be redoubled. He sets a steady gaze on you. Happened. He shrugs one bony shoulder. "I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps. But that is not your concern." "Does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers?" "I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn, or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough." Great. I don't like him. Archer, quest completed, the Gilded Vale.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
Looking for anyone who can help me feel better. He gives an understanding nod and he takes a long drag from his pipe. "My condolences." He exhales and turns his attention away, watching the village around him. Scattered between the roots are bracelets of twine and bead, wilting flowers, and notes half erased by the wind. So, I'm assuming I can't actually, go and, try to find the animancer in the tree. Used to have a lot more fortune tellers come through. Lord Radric had us chase him off. Is this stealing? Well, let's go to the inn regardless. Oh. Eloth, ooh. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
What's going on? One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. "Mocking us even while he shelters in our village. Just goes to show you what these fancy Adira manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment, not from foreigners, and especially not from Adirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
Is that Matt Mercer? Wait. I think that's Matt Mercer. Because that accent is just... Yeah, it is.
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
It's like he has like two different personalities almost.
That's where you're wrong.
Wouldn't you rather be inside drinking rather than out here arguing? We don't want your charity either, foreigner. It sounds suspiciously like you're defending him. Fuck me, dude. This was endurance. I mean, I'll kill him if I have to. Is Adolf gonna help me? Seems like... I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this. Oh, they were easy. As the last of the attackers fall, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
I'm glad I could help.
Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
He straightens his hood, and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvisor, at your service.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I'm grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan ruins? Well, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
I'm just gonna be truthful to everybody. Aloth goggles at you silently, apparently assessing your earnestness. Finally, he gives you a clipped, awkward laugh.
You do manage to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments.
What are you doing in Gilded Vale?
Excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Me too.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
He nods at the gnarled old tree in the center of town. His darting glance takes in the tumbled-down buildings and the fallow, rock-strewn fields. I expect that such expertise would be best sold elsewhere. And just how did you manage to cross those three drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did make a rather lewd suggestion regarding one of the aggressors and his own sister. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. I heard the same thing. For just a moment, he looks as if he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief, but before he can speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lips so hard you expect to see blood. Finally, his face relaxes, and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. You don't exactly look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
I'm not gonna turn down Matt Mercer.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Yay! Oh, wait, I could loot these people, I suppose. What is this? Club. Simple clothing. Okay, that's fine. But we are going to go to the inn because I need to rest. The floorboards are sticky with spills that no one has bothered to clean. Oscar.
Greetings.
Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you! Tenfith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenfith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So, what would you like? I could use some reliable help. Do you know of anyone working for work? I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. You see what you have. Sure. Oh. Well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. Let me see what I have to work with. Oh, I can recruit adventurers. Cool, cool, cool. Ooh, cookies and pie. What do these do, actually? Oh, yeah, like, okay, consumables. Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may consider the more expensive options. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. House completed late for dinner. I wanted to try talking to some people. What kind of brown slop is congealing in the dishes? It smells burnt. Am I allowed to go back here? Hey, Tenfith. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I've decided that you have earned the right to one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Did I get it? Stealing. Okay. Spoons hang by the fire, coated in brownish gunk. Ah, there's a door over here. This is not stealing, so. Let's just talk to some people. Don't have much time for talking. Can see Pearly around. He's dead. And Pearly. Oh. And who are you then? Another fool to come to answer Redrick's invitation. Oh, great lord, had my sister run out of town after the boy was born. She was the only family I had left. Not sure where she is now. Blazes, I need another drink. Huh, interesting. Selena Vertiva. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Strom Brightblade. That's out. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one item after the other, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item is a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen, anyone heading out on high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Oh. Interesting. How about you? You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away, and carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking around the boys, talking about the proper stance and bow, and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near their practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is sudden, explosive movement in the underground as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he loses this last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. Interesting. Okay then. Let's go upstairs. I want to explore, I want to talk to people. Carouser. Grab a drink, friend, not much else worth in this town. Says the woman from Thane. He said we wouldn't mention Thane. Deslok Najatep. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet, with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, 3 smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man at the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in 3 parts of the room, and with a terse nod they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all 3 slump to the ground in an agony that's all on their minds. The burly man bows to a room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. Good thing nobody notices that I'm, peering into their souls. Shane shakes Mulrian. You see an emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him, expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands, limbs hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into his skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dully. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only hard, black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the leg on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, the twitches growing into convulsive shakes. Oh, shit. Wow, that's intense. Sila Amin. You see a long empty road cutting through two large crop fields. The air is silent, the land seems too still for early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffing at the air, her nose high. Brow crinkles and she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouthing a single word. Fire? She looks out across the fields, her confusion turning to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes and scans the fields again. Not finding what she was looking for, she jumps onto her horse's back, the fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face as she stares at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the rubble. Damn. Sad. Oh, can I pet the doggo? The hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up as you approach and you whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Of course I'm going to pet the dog. The dog's tail thumps happily against the floorboards, covered in tiny bite marks. Oh. I didn't realize that was like... Oh. I mean, I don't know. Let's go back in. Okay, I will now rest after, I think, looking thoroughly at the rooms and such. Actually, I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Really? Let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here, too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. 10 first the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables, actually, until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. Even left his poor hound behind. Oh. That's the name, see? The Black Hound? It's still sitting upstairs pining after him. Poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please, sit where you like. Okay. I'd like a room, please. Ooh. Lasts for 2 rests, plus 2 resolve. Let's just do this. Rest. Oh, that tree. Just any, fantasy or, swords and swords kind of a world that's got a tree with just dead people hanging from it. Just... Sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Oh. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes her stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. I got experience. Okay, I shall go find the dwarf woman. Okay. Out of the inn we go. Are they gonna be like, did you have anything to do with these dead people? Tuatanu's one of the best smiths in the Direwood. His stock's been lousy lately. Crops are blighted. Oh, I can level up. Tight! I don't know what I want to level up, though. I kind of want to do a lot of lore stuff. I think that's okay. Powers! Amplified requires 20 focus. Do they all require 20 focus? They do. Phantom foe. Oh, I can choose 2. Tight. Okay. Causing pierce damage and violently pushing them backward. I think I like mental binding. And let's maybe choose another tier 1 because we only have 20 focus anyway right now. I think I like tenuous grasp better. Okay. What about for Aloth? Level 3 wizard now. Oh, he's the lore guy. But I need you to have better... let's do that. That's fine. Ooh, it's not gonna really hit much though, I feel like. Chill fog, maybe? And... corrosive siphon. Okay, cool. Caldera de Baranzi. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, receiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electric surge of images, and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness, in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel, from a tree that stands planted in the misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think.
It is
Yes?
both. I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there.
She nods.
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder.
What did you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far.
Far?
Beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
I think I survived a Bielik. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
Souls break apart over time.
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We
Rimergand.
know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
She clicks her tongue. How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I like her a lot. Am I imagining this?
No, I think not.
Nope.
A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even, to not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
But what happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last
I thought she might give me a little bit more detail.
Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me. Nothing?
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
But what's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid.
I want to have an aunt or grandma like her to tell just all of these crazy stories in life. It's so cool.
It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear. Of course. Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Adara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose. New surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Athalia was granted Crucible of the Soul. Eloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Were you alright? You seemed lost just now. This happens a lot. You'll have to... Right. He folds his arm. That's good to know, but I don't suppose you could tell me what that was all about. I'm a watcher. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin, and I expect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about watchers? Only that they're rare, and they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. He coughs, as you just demonstrated. Let's continue on. Level to Kaidnua. Quest completed vision.
17.5.
17.5? The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
Is he also Matt Mercer? He is. That's funny. What are you talking about? What was that about a dwarf?
Woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What makes you think I was interested in the dwarf woman? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched. His smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
I've been out of sorts lately. Of course, we all got our bad days when we stand perfectly still and stare at corpses for a while without blinking. He winks. Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers.
What?
Same thing in the eyes of folks
I'm
around here.
cipher.
Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
You think you're going to be hanged?
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Bella decides he's the living incarnation of Aethys, overthrows Mercers, marches on Deerwood, so we give him a Deerwood and hello. God of rebirth and redemption. Formerly, anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from.
We blew him up.
We blew him up. He smiles at this, but it is the smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Radric sent men down here the other day. Said they had it on good authority someone in town is working with the Kolsk, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward. So Swithin, that's my head man, steps up and says it's him. Took him at his word. What does your town have against you?
Picked the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, and then I did too. But, he didn't make it back.
Oh.
After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Radric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Aelos glances at you and lowers his voice. You can see why I was so eager to leave. Of course. Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. If you're next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? Drinking mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there that don't think Widewind's legacy started with Widewind. You don't think that the legacy started with travel together? Where are you headed? Some place called Kite Noir. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath.
I can't pass up traveling with two mad Mercers.
A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger. And a strange one at that.
I am a strange one.
But truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Oh, I wanted them to talk to each other. There's a fine reason if I ever heard one.
Alright then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
Yay! Fragments of a Scattered Faith. Oh, it's a side quest. You seem to have questions you thought a watcher might be able to answer. The old watcher? Okay. Oh no, these are the quests, and this is just like notes. Okay, cool. Well, now with this new quest, then I think I'm going to leave this episode here because I've been recording for some time. But cool. This is getting much more interesting. And I'm very curious to know like how much exploration like I can do before going on like the main quests, and like if there are side quests that I can do, and like how easy it's gonna be for me to get killed. But I feel a lot better traveling with companions now, and they're both Mercers. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for notifications when I put out new videos. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!